Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. It's your girl Simplycoya, and if this is your first time here, welcome to the channel. So today I have an exciting video for you guys because we are going to be going over all things aesthetic. So I wanted to go over some visual overrides, visual aesthetic things that I have in my game that just make it look a little bit better. And I'm going to do like some mini tutorials on things. They're not going to be very in-depth, so just be forewarned. I did not do a super in-depth tutorial on Reshade. I tried to explain Reshade as best as I could and give a little bit of information on how I get my game to look the way that I do. So I hope you all find this video helpful, and instead of babbling on, because I will totally do that, let's go ahead and jump right into the video. Alright, so the first mod that we are going to start off by talking about is Reshade. I've gotten a ton of questions about how to install Reshade, what presets I use, things like that. So this is not going to be a super in-depth tutorial because I do already have Reshade installed on my computer. I've had it installed for years now, and I don't know what uninstalling and reinstalling, and I don't want to fool around with that, and then I'll be so sad if I mess something up, even though I'm sure everything would be fine. Just to err on the side of caution, I don't want to fully reinstall it, but I will walk you through as much as I can. But first, you're going to want to scroll down, and there are two different download options. This is the latest version of Reshade that I currently have, and what you'll want to do is download Reshade 6.3.1 or whatever version it is at the time you're watching this video, with full add-on support. The reason why you want this is because there are legacy shaders from previous versions of Reshade, and when you get a particular pop-up, which I'll show you soon, that is going to be what you're going to check off when you want to have like certain textures and shaders and things like that. So you'll want to download this. So once you hit download, so you can see here I already have it. What you'll do once you download Reshade is it'll give you this warning basically telling you that it's for single player games and not for multiplayer, for whatever reasons they have for that. And then you can search for where your Sims 4 game is. It's typically not going to be on this screen, so you'll just browse to wherever you have your Sims 4 saved. I keep my bin file saved or pinned to my quick access because I'm constantly adding new shaders, but you can see I have my Sims 4 game installed on my C drive in program files, origin games, Sims 4 bin, and then this is where your game is going to be. And then what you'll do is click on TS4_X64, and then you'll hit open, and then that's how Reshade will find what you want to use the game on. And then it's going to ask you which API the Sims uses, and this really depends on what version of the game you're on. If you haven't updated in a while, then you might still be on DirectX 9, and you can tell that by going to your main menu and it'll tell you at the bottom corner. But due to the recent updates, The Sims has moved on to DirectX 11, so you'll select this option and then choose next. Because I already have Reshade installed, mine will only say update Reshade only, and that's one of the really cool things about Reshade is when a new version is out or if there is any type of update, all you have to do is update Reshade. You won't have to install effects and things like that. So once that happens, it will ask you what effect packages you want to have installed. I'm pulling up this picture for you so you can basically see what I mean. So there will be a ton of different effects that you will want to install for Reshade. It's up to you if you want to install them all. There's no harm in doing that. If you don't want to, all of these from Quint and up, I would highly recommend installing. And also this one, the standalone shaders by ʟᴜ, at least, which is why I'm saying you're better off just installing all of them. But this one, if you want the comic effect like how I have in my game, you'll want this because that is how you'll be able to get that effect. So there will be legacy standard effects only when this is using old presets. There are presets that were made back in like 2018, 2019. Like there are so many shaders out there. So I highly recommend you will 100% want to install the legacy standard effects because those are going to be the ones that will let you use older Reshade presets. Okay, so now that Reshade is installed, you will then have the Reshade presets and Reshade shaders folder here in your game. And then Reshade presets, this is where you're going to drop in all of your presets. And they're super easy to find. You can find them on Patreon, you can go on Tumblr. There are tons of different places where you can find different presets, but this is, like I said, the one that I'm using, and this is actually a G-Shade preset. So just so you know, G-Shade, Reshade, based on my experience, are interchangeable. You don't necessarily have to worry about whether or not one is going to work with the other. I've never had any issues with the G-Shade preset not working on Reshade, and before what went down with G-Shade, I didn't have any issues with Reshade presets working with G-Shade either. So all right, now that we are in game, you can see that I am here on the Reshade screen. When you first boot up Reshade, be sure to pay attention when the effects are loading in, especially on your first time, because depending on type of keyboard you have, or if you're doing on the laptop or on your computer, there's going to be a specific path that Reshade is going to give you so that you can toggle in and out of Reshade. And mine defaults to home. So whenever I press home, I'm automatically able to go in and out of Reshade. Sometimes it's a different button. I did not pay attention to this the first time I ever installed Reshade, and I had absolutely no idea how to pull it up and actually get it to work. So make sure you pay attention to that. And there are just tons of things you can do with Reshade. I have a few toggles for reloading the effect. So I have F12 set to toggle the reshade on and off. F11 goes to the previous preset, and F10 goes to the next preset. So this way you can bounce around between the different presets that you have, and I will kind of give you an example of that in a moment. And then I also have Control R as my screenshot key. This is how I can take different screenshots, and then I path it to where I want those to be. So those are the different options that you have there. And then in here is where you can go in and choose the different reshades that you want to use. So this initially was the preset that I had prior to changing. I know a lot of you guys asked about this one, but you can definitely see the difference in how each reshade plays with the game. This reshade, definitely the comic effect is really, really intense. I definitely loved this reshade until I found the mochaccino, and this is mochaccino without the comic effect. If you want to see that, way brighter, way more vibrant, 6:05 p.m. in the game, and you can definitely see the difference in how it looks, but it's really up to your preference. I love this reshade. I think it's beautiful. It's so vibrant. Oh, I love it. So one great thing about taking screenshots with my preset, if you hit the tab mode, you can go into camera view, and this way you can move your camera around and take their photos. So if you want like a really beautiful scenic shot like this one here, and then I can use my shortcut Control R, and it shows you the path and the name of that image. So it's really great for that. I definitely think Reshade just makes the game look so much better, because if I hit F12, as you can see, the game just lacks all of the things that I need it to have. It's not for me, but that's everyone's preference. Some people don't like Reshade. It's up to you personally, but I love it. I think it's amazing. And like I mentioned before, with some of my shortcuts, I can toggle. This is the blurred version of the mochaccino preset. So if I hit F10, I was able to go to this preset, and then if I hit F11, then I can go back to it. So it's basically a back and forth, and you can see at the top that it's switching between the two. It's perfect for taking those screenshots or those moments, and you don't want to have to keep pressing your shortcut key to get in and out of Reshade. But I mean, that's essentially it. I hope this was somewhat helpful. I tried my best to give like a pretty simple explanation on how to install and what to use. That's just really what I use it for, is just to get those really good screenshots, and I think the shortcuts are super helpful. So that is Reshade for the most part. Comment down below, let me know if that was helpful. If you have any questions, I'll be sure to try to answer them down below. And if I didn't mention already, everything in this video is going to be linked down below. So while we are here at this beautiful villa, the visuals of Tartosa look just a little bit different, because look at how beautiful that sunset is. I'm sure if you've been playing this game for a while, you are no stranger to the sunblind lighting mod. This is probably my favorite mod ever. It is absolutely perfect. It makes your sunsets, your game, like if I speed it up a little bit, you can just see how beautiful everything looks when the sun begins to set or rise. It is just so stunning. I absolutely love it. So I'm not going to go into super detail about how to install this mod, because it is fairly simple. So you are going to go to Softer Haze Itch.io website, and this is where you're going to download the lighting effect. So there are some recommended mods here, like replacements and other lighting mods. I do have a different cloud replacement that I use that I'll talk about later. I would recommend just reading through this. The installation is super easy. You're going to navigate back to where your Sims 4 is installed, but instead of heading to your bin folder, you're actually going to go to Delta and Data. In the sunblind lighting effects, you'll see that it comes with these files here. You basically will pop into those, and the pathing in here is exactly the same as what it is in this folder here. So you'll follow that same pathing, but what you'll want to do is copy these effects here. So I usually will do this side by side. So yeah, you'll follow this path, and once you follow it, you're only going to copy and paste the effects from the sunblind zip file and paste them into this folder. And that will be the same for Delta. It's for every expansion pack and game pack that has a world. You'll copy and paste. Do not drag and drop these files into these folders. That is a big no-no, and you're going to go back into your game, and all of your builds and everything are going to be completely gone because you will have erased all of these other additional files that are unique to your own save file. So that would be the biggest no, don't do that. Copy paste only. So that is Sunblind. Once you install that, your game will have these incredible, like, look at that. Look at how beautiful. I mean, it's honestly unbelievable that, like, how do we not already have this in game? It is just so absolutely stunning. I love it. And they just look so cute. Their little pool moment. This is my sim Sabrina. She was in our mod video. I brought her on vacation with her boo for this video specifically so you guys could see how stunning this all looks. So that is a Sunblind mod. Highly recommend. It is definitely one of those things that is going to up not only your visuals, but if you like to do cinematics, if you like to take amazing photos, this mod is definitely going to elevate all of that. I mean, you cannot deny how beautiful that is. Oh, I love it. All right, so the next lighting mod that I use in my game is the No Blue version 2 lighting replacement for The Sims 4. This, I honestly can't really show you. It's already in my game, and even with the Reshade that I'm using, I don't know if there's any particular way that I can show you how much of a difference this makes, but I definitely recommend it. It basically takes that blue, really icky lighting that is already in The Sims 4, and it tones that down, and it makes the game just, you know, look a little more even, if you will. Easy, you just download it, drop it into your mods folder. So I'll give you a little peek into my mods folder. I am hyper organized, and you can see I have 8 million mods in my game, but you know, it is what it is. But you'll see I have a specific folder for visual override mods. So this is where I keep my overrides, different lighting mods. There are a ton of different lighting effects. You can really get lost in the weeds. I'm not going to go into a lot of them only because I've had them in my game for so long. I honestly could not even tell you, but I know for sure that this one is an essential if you want your game to have just a crisper, cleaner look and not have that really gross blue hue. I do remember when the game looked like that, and it's not the move. Hopefully this video is somewhat being helpful for you guys. I'm trying my best to explain certain things. Some things with the lighting, it's a little difficult to show you, but hopefully based on my reshade, and if your game looks a little different and you notice that you do have that blue tint, hopefully these mods will help you kind of clean that up and make your game just look a lot more visually pleasing. All right, continuing on with aesthetics. As you can see, as my game is loading, my background and Plumbob are a different color, and this is definitely one of those minor aesthetic changes to the game that I absolutely love. This one's going to be a little bit of a bundle talking about the Reaper's Reward. God, please let it be over. I'm so sick of seeing these screens. All right, so the next thing we're going to be talking about are the Plumbob override and the loading screens. So, I mean, there are so many different loading screens and different overrides. You can just Google it honestly and find so many, but I find that Pinkish World has my favorites, and they actually have a bunch of different ones. They have glittery colors, they have different colors, so a nice hot pink, a nice brown, they have even the lighter colors. I was using the blue for a long time. I did find this other creator, Sim Beauty Guru. I'd never come across her before till doing some research for this video, and she also has some really nice overrides. So this is the Plumbob that I'm using currently, paired with the loading screen by Pixel Glam. And Farfalla, they came out with some beautiful loading screens. There are so many different kinds. It really just depends on your aesthetic. This is really easy to change. Just like everything else, you're going to drop it into your mods folder. I keep a lot of my things separate so that when it's time to update or if anything is broken, it's easy for me to find. So for my visual overrides, where I have like more CAS columns, UI cheats, things like that, I keep everything in here. So this is where I will put the loading screen, Plumbob, etc. So this is how I keep my mods organized. However you want to keep it, just know that when it's time to update, you know where to go when it's time to update everything. The next change that I have in my game is minimal, but it's just cute. It's fun. It's not necessary, but I love it. That is the Studio Ghibli Cloud Override by Miko. As you can see, it just gives you this fluffier, more aesthetic, cutesy cloud. I honestly don't even remember what the clouds in The Sims 4 look like. I'll pop a picture up on the screen if I can find one, but yeah, I think it just adds such a nice touch. It's really cute. You don't always see the clouds in the game, but when you do, like, look at how puffy and cute they are. I just love it. So very minimal, but it's just a welcome change. And that's the thing about a lot of these things that I'm suggesting to you guys. They're not essential. You don't need to have any of this stuff in your game to obviously enjoy it, but I think visually, having reshade, having the different lighting mods, overhauling the clouds, I think it's just I think it's a lot of fun, and it makes your game unique based on how you want it instead of just looking like every other game. So I've made a couple of Create a Sim videos already, so a lot of this stuff is probably not going to be new, at least from a visual perspective, but the CAS background is 1000% something that I have overhauled. I hate the default CAS background. I think it's so ugly. I hate that blue into green or whatever. Ew, it's gross. I don't like it. So this CAS background that I currently have is by Large Tater Tots, and I mean, look at it. It's so cute. And this one is really good because of how my reshade is set up. So depending on which reshade preset you want to use, because I have the comic effect, you can see that it does clip into the UI, and I know that can be frustrating and annoying for some people, but I love the comic effect. I think it adds this cuteness to it. Oh, that I actually forgot to bring up in the reshade portion of this video, but it's literally just an effect. If I toggle it off, it goes away. So if you want, there are a ton of different ways that you can use this. I'm sorry, this is a total sidebar, but take a picture of my settings if you like the way that the comic outline that I use looks. I played around with these settings like crazy. I think I spent like two weeks trying to figure out how it works and how I wanted it to look. I wish I could get the edges a little bit smoother, but that's neither here nor there. But that is just something if you guys want to mimic the effect that I have. So sorry for the sidebar, but yeah, the CAS background I definitely think is a must. It's just cute. You can change it for the seasons. You could change it depending on your style. While we are on the topic of Large Tater Tots, or Tay here on YouTube, she's incredible. Love her content. Love her custom content because she makes really good custom content. I mentioned this in, I think, my previous Create a Sim video, but I have these minimal CAS organizers by Large Tater Tots. They are incredible, amazing, especially when you're trying to layer on skin details. Having these dividers are so cute. You know, I've had them for so long, like different variations of these, that I don't even know if this is something in the game or if CC creators just came up with this idea and now it's like a thing, because I honestly don't remember if these are actually in the game, like having those dividers. They could be, and I just totally forgot, but obviously given the overall look of my game, the aesthetic, I think that these are my favorite. The font and everything, it looks so good. So I highly recommend just checking out Large Tater Tots if you haven't already. Again, everything's linked down below, but they make some incredible custom content for the game. So next we are going to be talking about my CAS pose. So this one is a bit newer. I don't know how long it's been out, but it's by Northern Siberia Winds, and it changes the position of your Sims in Create a Sim. So what I love about this is it gives you a different pose for the nails. Love that. There are a lot of other different CAS poses, but I like that this is an all-in-one because you can just drop all the things into your game and it's easy peasy. So these are the different variations of the poses. So as you can see, it varies from gender and age, and then there are different versions. I have in one because I like that they're kind of at a little bit of an angle, but not too much. I feel like this will be a little too distracting for when I'm creating Sims. And then for the males, I have in two because I like this stance. And then there are different ones for the kids, the toddlers, which is so adorable. And then also for infants, if you don't want them sitting down, I think this position is really great because sometimes when you're dressing infants and they're sitting down and it's just like, no, I can't get the whole fit right, you know? So I really think this is an amazing mod. All the download instructions are here. I like this one. I thought it was very, very cute, very new versus just the classic standstill like this, which is no problem, obviously, but I think these are a fun little take on that. The next would be my default underwear override. Okay, her hair is so in the way. You've probably seen this in basically every Create a Sim video that I have on my channel. I feel like this is the one that I've had for the longest time. It's by ʟɪᴇ. I think that's how you say her name. This is her default bra and panty. You can choose, there's a default black or white. I obviously have the white version, and there are so many other default underwear overrides, but let's be real. No one likes that ugly orange set that EA gives us. It's not cute. It's not the move. We don't like her. She does not live here. So highly recommend getting an override, even if it's not this one specifically. And then lastly, I have the wrench CC icon override, so you can see that all of my custom content that I have in my game. Oops, I did not mean to change her fit. I'm so sorry, girl. So when I click on custom content, all of my CC is marked with a little bow. I think it's so cute. It's like my little custom content present, all of my cutesy little CC, but I love it. It's very minimal. It's not invasive like the wrench, which is just like very much much in your face, and this just cleans up your UI. It's not just applicable in Create a Sim. So like I said, it's not only applicable in CAS, it overrides it even in build by mode. So it just makes everything visually look so much better than having those blue ridges on everything. So highly recommend. Now we're going to talk about more in-game aesthetics, and one of my favorite things currently in the game is having font override. There are so many different variations, but the one that I currently have is again by Large Tater Tots. She is like a feature in this video. I love a lot of her stuff. It really fits with my vibe 100%. So you can see here that I have the font overridden. It overrides everything in the UI, from even the Reaper's rewards that keeps popping up on my screen. That drives me absolutely crazy. It overrides everything. It overrides the different menus. So yeah, it overrides the menus. I think it's just a really nice, very cutesy look to the game. It's really easy to read. It's not difficult to see, and it just makes the game look better in that regard. Oh no, I forgot to put her pajamas back on. I don't want my girl out here in her drawers in the apartment. Yeah, and super random, she has a freaking workplace rival. I've literally never seen that in the game. I think that's hilarious. So I'm excited to see how that's gonna play out. And then the next in-game override are the textures. So I have the KHIPPY 505 terrain override. So it overrides all the different terrains in the game from every single world. Well, I think there are two outstanding that need to be updated from the DX11, but it changes the terrain, makes it look just way more realistic. I'm trying to see if there's a section with some grass that I can show you, but I don't. We're on Oasis Springs, so you can see the grass even has that like more realistic look. You can see the cliff textures. I mean, it's looking a little rough back there, you know, the shells and all, but you can still kind of see what I'm talking about. It just overrides that, and I think it gives the game a bit more of a realistic look, but in a good way. Like, I don't think it conflicts with the Maxis match. It just makes the textures look so much better. I think they look really good. Yeah, so those are the terrain overrides. It overrides the dirt even in here. I just think it looks so much better. So very simple, very little things. Like I said, you don't have to do a whole lot, but I do think they make a really nice addition to the game. All right, so I am here at my sim work office building that was featured in my mods video. Perfect segue for this little mini mod, which is very aesthetic and I love it so much, but also to let you guys know that this build is available for download on my Patreon. So I have a link down below. Head over to my Patreon, download it if you would like to. It's a little bit of a toned down version, not fully dressed up like this one because it was genuinely way too much custom content to share in a post. Too much to link, so it's still the same for the most part. All the major items are still there, but a lot of the decorations are just not. All the clutter, because it would just be too much. But what I really want to talk about was this amazing build by override. I absolutely love this override. So as you can see, my controls for resizing room, I mean, what are these actually called in the game? I don't know. My scales and sliders and such for build mode are a different color, and oh my gosh, guys, when I found this, I was like, wait, I feel like I've never seen or heard anyone talk about this mod in particular, because what the hell, it's so good, and it's so simple. It's so simple, and I love it so much because like I said, it just fits in with the vibes. So it is by this creator here, Fixated, I think is how you say that, and they have so many different options. So from the base game controls, they created so many different overrides and recolors. I have the peach version, I think, or the brown. I think I have the peach, actually. Whatever your vibe is, whatever colors you like, I think it's just so freaking cool. And it also has a grid override, so you can see the grids are actually very, very minimal, because I often found myself turning them off when I would build because I found the originals to be so distracting, but now they're only there if I really, really need them, which is very rare. So I love just how cleaned up it makes build mode. If you're a builder, I think you'll really like this. There are some others that I've seen around in terms of the grids, but I've never seen anyone talk about or, you know, use these. I think they're so amazing, and it's just so cute and so simple. Like, you know, it's like not even a lot. And I do tend, when I put my building hat on, I think it's amazing to not have to deal with the obnoxious grids and just to have a cuter little vibe. Like, I love it so much. It's so great. So I highly recommend this one. Next, we're going to be talking about something that is for your Sims, and this also makes gameplay a little cleaner, a little more aesthetic, and that is the Missing Plumbob by Mint Valentine. As you can see, Sabrina does not have a plumbob over her head, which I think is amazing, and you don't have to type in a cheat code every single time. It's just not there. You can still see headline effects, you can still see who she is, and you know, all other Sims, because one of the things I notice is when you turn off headline effects, you don't get that liberty of being able to see all of the other things that are going with your Sim, whether they're a bartender, who this person is, what's their name, blah blah blah. So I think this is amazing. It just cleans it up. I don't need the plumbob. I have an indicator right down here letting me know, oh, okay, she's hungry. Yeah, go grab some s'mores. That makes sense. Have s'mores at freaking 7:17 in the morning. Sure. So I really love that. I can just check my Sims needs down here. I don't need to see it floating above their heads. I know it's classic Sims, like that's what it's there for. That's just something very simple. And then another thing is the outline. I have also put in a mod that removes the outline on your Sim so that you don't have that, you know, shape. It actually removes it from everything, not just the Sim. I don't find it necessary for me personally in my gameplay. Maybe some people find it helpful to know like what they're clicking on, but I don't think it's necessary, but to each his own on that regard. But I think it's great, especially depending on the reshade you use. It can get really clunky around your it can get really clunky around your Sim, and I don't like that. So I love this for that reason alone. Just another thing to clean up the UI, clean up the game. Oh my god, now we're playing beer pong, bro. It is literally 8 o'clock in the morning. You guys are insane. All right, everybody, so that is going to wrap up today's video. I hope you found some of these things helpful. They're just very minor. Some of these are very minor, just add-ons to the game that just clean things up a little bit, and then other things have a little bit more detail to them, but really make the game visually stunning. So hope you found this helpful. Comment down below and let me know if you did. If there's anything that you have questions about, definitely go ahead and let me know. And that's going to be it for this one, guys, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye.